Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Wi-Fi is Out with your two hosts, Eros
and Double T.
Today we have some really cool stuff, but we're going to start it off with something that popped up after last week's video.
Kraven the Hunter trailer came out.
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit about him? I don't know a lot about this character.
Did you not watch it?
No, I did not.
No? Okay. So, Kraven is they want to portray him as a villain.
Okay.
But it's very clear he's an anti-hero.
Okay, what is he in the comics? Like, what is he?
A villain,
He's
mostly.
a villain, what does he do?
Hunts Spider-Man.
That's it?
He hunts prey.
Okay, so he picks a target, and that's his target. And so they want to portray him not necessarily... they want to portray him as a villain, but what he's going to be is probably just an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Kind of like Venom in a way, or...
I'd say more like how they did Morbius.
Okay, so this is made by Sony again, right?
Yes.
So far Sony has done Venom, who's just become an anti-hero. They've done Morbius, who's just become an anti-hero. And now they're doing a third villain who's just going to kind of become an anti-hero.
Yes.
I see a trend.
With no Spider-Man in their universe so far.
Yeah, they haven't officially said who their Spider-Man is. They just have Spider-Man, bad guys.
Until they say otherwise, I'm counting all three of these in the same universe. The Sony verse is what people are calling it right now.
My concern is none of these are part of the Sinister Six, which is, the main bad guy team I know from Spider-Man.
No, Kraven is.
Kraven was part of the Sinister Six?
Yeah, he was like one of the originals.
Oh, okay. So maybe we're getting something that leads up to that, and potentially, what if there just is no Spider-Man in this universe?
The Vulture is in this universe now. He showed up at the end of Morbius, so there's Vulture too.
But Morbius and Venom aren't normally a part of the Sinister Six.
No.
And it really does seem like they're kind of making Venom more of like a Deadpool almost, where like he just does what he wants.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that is kind of Venom, to be fair. Venom hasn't... I don't really remember Venom ever specifically being like an evil, super evil villain. He was just kind of like, I just do my thing. And I don't like Spider-Man. That's it.
Yeah, these villains just mostly revolved around Spider-Man. So having no Spider-Man is
so
weird.
far has been a little weird. So what do you think of the movie? You think it's going to be a good one? Do you think it's kind of like based on their history? Going to be like, could swing. It's going to be bad. What?
It seems like it's going to be better than Morbius, so I'm willing to go watch it.
Yeah, okay. That's a big improvement at least.
And the anti-villain, if they're trying to make Kraven the villain, like, not a hero, like, I don't know what to call him.
So here's my confusion, okay? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The Rhino is who Kraven is probably going to fight at the ending.
So who's he hunting? Have they like
his
hinted?
family's empire?
That's what his target is his
Yeah.
family's empire in New York City.
Oh, did I forget he has powers now too?
He has superpowers, which he's not supposed to have?
No, not really. He drinks like this liquid, kind of like how Black Panther did.
Okay.
That gives him enhanced abilities.
Okay.
But I don't think he has powers to see through the animal's eyes.
Okay.
So he can see through a hawk, he can see through rats.
I mean, that's kind of a cool power, to be honest. That's like not like the most useful, but it's like good for scouting.
Yeah, but he got it through lion's blood. So how the fuck do lions connect to hawks?
It was the spider that bit Peter Parker bit the lion, and then he drank the lion's blood. Easy peasy. If the lion would have bit him, he would have just been a lion, That's how stuff works in that universe, apparently.
But that's about it for...
So what do we have? What do we have next?
The newest MCU TV show, Secret Invasion.
Which I haven't watched the trailer for. But I did see that there was like a website that people were finding the password for, that they could see like the first few minutes of it.
Yeah. I haven't looked. Honestly, I'm not that excited about the series.
It seems like it's gonna be kind of like one of those, like not like kind of like a police drama in a way, but like less exciting, like a detective drama.
Yeah,
You know, where it's just
that's
like,
definitely the feel I got.
like a mystery kind of, like a really crappy one.
So before we go,
Okay.
we're not going to continue talking about each episode.
Obviously, because we don't want to.
We're just going to talk about this first one.
Okay.
If it interests you to watch it, go watch it. We won't talk about it again until the very last episode, and probably a week after that last episode.
Well, and if maybe something pops up that has to do with the new arc of Marvel coming in, but it'll most likely just be that.
If a major MCU theory comes out, I will probably.
We'll definitely touch on it if there's a major MCU theory.
But Secret Invasion in the comics is when you find out a bunch of political people, normal people, and superpowered people have been Skrulls this entire time. And they're trying to take over the Earth. So, in the comics, it's like you find out Iron Man's a Skrull, Captain Marvel, Wolverine. We find out General Ross is a Skrull.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, we've talked about him before on the podcast.
Oh no, not that Ross. A different Ross.
Then no, because there's like, if you name 5 different people Ross, I don't care at that point.
So my main point of that was they gave us, I would say, a C tier character revealed as a Skrull.
Okay.
When in the comics, TV shows, we get like an S or an A tier character showed.
Okay.
So this character has been involved with the Black Panther movies in Civil War. He hasn't really done anything. So I didn't really feel this impact of like, oh no, the Skrulls have taken over. It's not like the new Captain America has flown down and is like, speak the Skrull language and turns into a Skrull. It's like, oh no. The Falcon Captain America is a Skrull. His next movie, he's a Skrull the entire time. It's like, no. We got this agent that worked with Black Panther a lot.
And that's pretty much it, like, that we've gotten revealed.
And he got killed, so either the real one pops back up or
another Skrull takes his place, to be fair.
You know, I guess.
Like, theoretically, another Skrull could just take their place.
They do show us they can, like, use their hands when they're in the machine and take their minds.
Oh, sure.
So, it's possible. But I did not feel the impact, like, wow, this is going to be MCU world changing.
It's more so, I think, just an introductory to their next, like, set of, you know, content they're making. Their next set of movies, you know, in order to be like, hey, like, it's not the most entertaining, but this is going to give you a lot of background story if you don't know about this. It's probably what the show's going to be.
So, the main cast is Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and Talos,
Okay.
who was last seen in Spider-Man Far From Home, when we find out he's been impersonating Nick Fury the entire time. They go on this adventure trying to stop Garrick, the new council member of the Skrulls that has taken advantage of the frustration of the new generation trying to take over Earth. Talos' daughter is on the team, so we're going to have some family dynamic throughout the series. And then we get to the ending of the episode where Maria Hill dies. And I'm just confused as to why they would kill off one of the main characters in the first episode.
Who was Maria Hill? Because I'm not familiar with that.
Colby Smulders? How I Met Your Mother?
Okay.
She was there for the first Avengers movie. She was there Avengers 2. She's been in multiple movies.
When they killed her off, do we know it was her or a Skrull?
They did cut it pretty fast.
So it's kind of like up in the air in a way.
I'd say that's my worst part about this is like, oh, did this character actually die, or are they just a Skrull this entire time?
I mean, but that's, to be fair, that's what the Secret Invasion I feel like is about. You know, is like, is it a person that we should care for, or is it just a Skrull and then the real person might come back later? You know, that I feel like that's what they're trying to do, is bring that portion of the comics into the, you know, actual cinema version where it's like, oh gosh, do we know, do we not know? The suspense, that's what I'm looking for. They're trying to bring the suspense in.
I mean, yeah, I guess the only other major like MCU character, War Machine,
Yeah.
he's there. I guess he's like the president escort now.
Oh, okay. Like the bodyguard? President's bodyguard?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I mean, to be fair, I feel like I kind of knew what this show was going to be. It's going to be one of those shows where, like, if you know a lot about the MCU, you don't really need to watch it. It's going to be really boring early on and maybe pick up later. But if you're brand new to the MCU, like you just started watching the movies, you don't really read the comics, you don't look into it, you don't watch the show, the, like cartoons and stuff, probably better to watch it so you at least have the background knowledge of kind of how it works, not how it is working, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because these are definitely not one-to-one representations of the comics. It's their own thing, just represented through the ideas of what the comics provided.
I just feel if they would have just made this a movie instead, would have had the big budget to bring in one of the superheroes.
They definitely would have had the budget to bring in superheroes in order to like be like, oh yeah, this is was a Skrull the whole time. But then I feel like would you watch it if it was an hour and a half or 2 hours, I guess, depending, or 3 hours even at this point, if it was just 3 hours of this show?
Honestly,
even if it had
it would probably have to be a two-parter movie, just like Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
Because there are some events in the comics you really should not just do into one movie.
Well, here's the thing, too. Even with this show, there's no guarantee there's any actual, like, enjoyable action in the show. It could just be this, you know, suspense kind of detective-esque movie show the whole time. So if this was turned to a 3-hour show, or 2-hour shows, or whatever, or movies, I mean, and whatever, it could just be 2 to 3 hours of just this, and no fighting, no action, nothing, just the suspense and the mystery and the detective portion.
I mean,
I feel like that wouldn't be as good.
There are good suspense movies.
There are, but Marvel hasn't done a good suspense movie yet. They haven't done a suspense movie at all. But have
to
they
be
done
fair,
a good one? It could be down there on like Captain America Civil War levels of not good.
See, Civil War was still not as good as the comic version, but it was good for what they did at that point.
Yes, but it could have been leagues better if they had taken the time to set it up better.
As they would have introduced more heroes into the world.
Which would have taken them years more of making more movies. So that I feel like that would be the same way you could put it for a Secret Invasion movie, where they could do it decent, but unless they put the extra years of making movies for more characters to bring them in, you know, more unique characters and stuff, it's just going to be like, hey, there's Hulk again for the 8th movie in a row. There's Spider-Man again for the 7th movie in a row, you know?
You know what I would do to fix this?
What would you do?
Bring in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. crew.
I feel like that would be a good way to do it. That would be the only way you could bring that crew into it.
I would love to see Quake again, and this time in actual MCU canon.
If anything, this would kind of be the time to bring in like the X-Men crew. It's not perfect, but it would work better. To bring in some of them.
I still don't understand how they're going to do that, to be honest.
I genuinely feel like the only way they can do it is going to be through the whole multiverse of madness theory, where it's like, oh, they just kind of got teleported to our multiverse on accident, and they actually exist in a whole separate multiverse where none of us exist.
But now our worlds are combined.
Yeah, but now our worlds are combining, and then in order to save everyone, we have to get everyone from their world over to our world, and their worlds just have to die, or vice versa. Something like that. Or the worlds merge, you know, together and create a whole separate conundrum.
So speaking of multiverse,
Yes.
the next topic is a movie I did not think was going to be a multiverse movie, was The Flash.
Oh yeah, you did go see that. What would you rate it? That's what I want to know first. I want to know, going into this, what would you personally rate it?
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Wow. Okay. Give us the reasoning.
There's so many things.
Okay, start from the beginning.
Oh, like the movie or like the points of why it
Both,
I think
honestly.
it failed.
Both, honestly.
Ezra Miller charges against him
Okay.
that have happened recently. All the stuff he did in Hawaii, stuff like that.
Yeah. What'd that do to the movie?
It made people not like Ezra Miller. It
Okay.
did not even help when producers came out and said, "This movie is so good, you forgot about his crimes."
And then obviously that didn't happen.
The whole time during the movie, I was like, once the movie ended, it's like, I still remember what he did. Like, it wasn't that good.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
The publicity, they decided not to use Ezra Miller to promote this film. So if you look back on like the trailers and stuff, it almost seems like a Batman movie. And that was the biggest spoiler they could ever do.
Yeah.
Because I knew Michael Keaton Batman was going to be in this movie.
Yeah.
He was the one thing that saved this.
Jeez. Okay. What else you got? This is going to be a hot take portion.
The writer's strike
Okay.
at all the late night shows, whereas these actors and actresses promote these movies. With the combination of not using Ezra Miller, did not help make this movie stand out at all.
Okay. I can follow up with that.
But now,
I can understand it.
let's get to the actual movie. The movie tried to make it seem like he has been doing the Flash superhero gig for like 20 plus years. All he did was complain. And it's like, dude, this is not the Flash. I've watched Grant Gustin's Flash. So, like, he's supposed to be happy and cheery at first.
Yeah, he's like the comedy character early on.
Yeah, and like after a couple years or more doing the Flash business, he's like, man, I wasn't fast enough to save my mother, but now I am. So let's go fix. But no, they shoot straight past that, and it's like, man, I'm tired of cleaning up after the Justice League. My life is so hard. Let's go.
They just straight shot past all the actual enjoyable aspects to the character. We're like, yeah, no, he's just going to complain a lot and he's going to absolutely hate his life.
That's literally what I felt like he was doing.
That sucks. Because that is not the Flash.
I will say the way they did the time travel was like trippy and kind of cool.
Okay.
He basically creates a chromodome around him, and as he's running, points in his life is moving past him.
Okay, so like memories are flashing by.
Yeah, like as pictures running at him as he runs past.
Okay, that's actually a pretty cool way to do it.
So he saves his mother by helping her get a can of tomatoes so the father does not leave the house so the killer can kill her. By putting one can of tomatoes in a basket, sets the whole world on fire, basically.
Oh my absolute goodness. One can of tomatoes to destroy the world.
So, as he's trying to get back to the present day, a dark flash knocks him out of time. And he goes, sees his family, runs into younger Barry.
Okay. So now there's two of them.
And he finally grows up because younger Barry is irresponsible because he's had a mother his entire life.
And he realizes he actually had it pretty good.
I wouldn't say pretty good,
but like...
But he's more grown up because of the scars that he had. So a bunch of hijinks happened when General Zod has come back to Earth, or technically his first time coming to Earth in this universe.
Okay.
Last time we saw him was in Man of Steel, where Superman had to end up killing him.
Okay.
So he starts trying to make the Justice League again. No one is there. Victor, Cyborg, never got turned into a cyborg.
Oh, no.
Aquaman was never born.
Oh, no.
Wonder Woman was either never born or never left the mascara. Was there another member? Superman never... he finds out either never came to Earth or never came out as Superman as Clark Kent. And the only one left is Batman. So they go find Bruce Wayne, and when they get to him, they find out it's Michael Keaton's Batman, not Ben Affleck, which was in the beginning of the film, by the way.
Oh, right off the bat.
So far we had 2 different versions of Batman show up.
Right off the bat. Man. So this is going to be an interest. That's... I mean, do you think not having a lot of the Justice League members made it better or uninteresting?
It made it worse and uninteresting. Because just like Secret Invasion, Atlantis and Themyscira were supposed to have a world fight right now. So Wonder Woman, Aquaman trying to kill each other in the United States.
Okay.
So innocent people were getting killed. Cyborg was like ambassador to the president type of thing. Like, it used a bunch of characters to help build Flashpoint, which this movie is based off of.
Yeah.
So by just limiting down the heroes made it not fun.
I mean, that's a big thing for any superhero movie, especially the superhero genre. The more superheroes you have in a movie, the more like freedom you have to be able to shoot your scenes in any way you want and make them as exciting and action-packed and like rope your audience in. And when you limit it down, you're like, oh, we're going to make this really big movie that's a huge turning point in the DCU, especially with them wanting to, just take it in a different direction. And they're like, yeah, we're going to have 3 superheroes. Out of how much is in your roster? Oh, like 50. We're only going to use 3. Like, why? What's the point? What is the point of limiting yourself in superheroes when they could have done a million other things that would have been like, this is cool?
So, after they recruited Michael Keaton's Batman, they tried to go find Superman, whose pod fell to Earth but was locked in Russia.
Okay.
When they get there, they find out it's Supergirl instead.
Oh, interesting.
They go back, hijinks happen again, Supergirl leaves because she's been imprisoned. He tries to electrocute himself again to get his powers back. And at the same time, they learn that the way time travel is portrayed in movies is wrong. Direct impact against the MCU, by the way. They put 2 noodles, raw noodles, side by side, and they bend one. It's like, well, in some movies that you go watch, they try to tell you that if you change something, your new present is changed. Okay. No, that's not how it is. It's like, so more confusion to everybody how time travel works.
Yeah,
with like Back to the Future, Endgame, Flash.
Oh my goodness.
They try to say time is like a whole bunch of spaghetti dropped on the plate. Just a hot mess. And it's like, okay.
I mean, I guess that's a direct dig at Marvel, to be fair, and everyone who likes time travel movies, to be fair. They basically just told everyone, like, yeah, it doesn't matter what you do with time travel, because plop, as the spaghetti's plate, that's just, it doesn't matter. Nothing you do matters. You're just going to hit a timeline and go.
And then we also learn about absolute, like, points. I forget, like, the main word they use. He learns this by holding up a pin with Alfred's name on it, Batman's butler.
Okay.
And goes, oh, Batman always has an Alfred. It's like, or he just has a butler with the same name. It's like, that doesn't directly mean absolute point, but whatever.
But he does. Batman always has a butler named Alfred.
But the point is, this is his only second universe he goes to, and is like, oh, absolute point. There's a bug on the ground at that same location. Absolute point. It's like, it's such a stupid thing to make an absolute point to me.
So my question is, if the Flash were to run back in time again, would he see the other Flash putting the can of tomatoes in the basket, and then if he stopped him, would that actually affect it? Whereas the other Flash that did go back to put the can of tomatoes in the basket would now have gone back and then immediately got like decked in the face by another Flash, you know? And then if another Flash came back to stop that Flash from stopping the other Flash.
So I can actually answer this because it actually happened in the movie.
Oh my gosh. Okay, answer it.
So we'll get to that in a moment.
Oh, okay. I'm excited now.
So the end part of this movie is both Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Batman die. They go back in time to try to fix it, tell them to do different things. They both die. They do this once. And it's like, oh, them dying is an absolute point. There's nothing we can do.
Given it's probably supposed to be an absolute point, but like, yeah, we tried it one time. They could have just like put in the thing that they tried like 5 times and nothing
Younger
changed.
Barry doesn't believe this, so he goes back in time again for the 3rd time, and then it's like, it's confirmed. Okay, it's an absolute point. But he keeps going back at it until the current Flash gets attacked by Dark Flash again.
Okay.
Which we learn is younger Barry. He's been doing it for so long that he has basically deformed himself with like metal and stuff to help try to beat the outcome or something.
Okay.
Where he kills younger Barry and then he disappears.
Okay, I'm following, or at least I'm trying to.
I don't understand why our current Flash doesn't die.
Yeah,
I'm still
I feel like that would kill the current Flash.
Like, I don't know anymore. I guess because they're at a different like
timeline. Technically,
he's not the same Barry.
Because it would be a separate Barry, because when he went back and changed it, his timeline ceased existing, and he just got, for some reason, instead of just disappearing with it, got sucked into the other one somehow.
The
Flash says to anyone who likes time travel videos, just says, "Screw you! I don't care about your rules."
So as this is all happening, they're breaking time and space.
Okay.
And we see other multiverses.
Interesting.
That showed up as like green, blue, like balls.
Okay.
We see in one of them. This is like the biggest slap to my face ever. They use a generic Jay Garrick.
Who is?
Like the first Flash from way back when it first started.
Okay.
The Flash that we know now, currently, like the most popular, he's the modern day Flash. This is Golden Age Flash.
Okay. I'm following.
The actor whose face they used was the character who played it on the TV show CW, The Flash. It's like, yeah, no, I never, like, did anything for this movie. They just used my face.
Oh, they just CGI'd his face in.
Yes.
That's funny.
When they could have called Grant Gustin,
Okay.
who played the Flash for like over 10 years, I believe.
Okay.
But no, they just went with a Jay Garrick. And it's like, why?
He was old. They want an old Flash.
And then they showed us Nicolas Cage as Superman. It's like, why are they showing us Superman, by the way? It's like multiple different Supermans.
Oh, they showed you more than one?
Yeah. And I was like, why? Who wanted Nicolas Cage Superman? I know he was originally going to play Superman, like in a movie a long time ago.
Yeah, I just wanted to appease the masses, you know? Everyone really wanted that movie to come out, apparently.
Oh.
They said to slap you in the face not once but twice, back to back.
Okay, so now to get to your question.
Yeah.
To fix all of this problem, to stop the multiverses, like, from colliding, he has to let his mom die.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
He goes back to the store. He sees his past Flash self. Put the can of tomatoes in there. And then he has to take the tomatoes out.
Okay.
And that restores the multiverse. So the reason why these cans of tomatoes are important is the mother sent the father to the store to get tomatoes. The killer thought the house was empty because somebody left. Yeah. Came in, killed the mom, with probably gloves. Dad came in, grabbed the knife to try to help, and his fingerprints were on the knife.
Okay.
So while he was at the store, there was a camera pointed at the can of tomatoes, but he never looked up at the camera. So, to fix this time, he moved the can of tomatoes to the top shelf. So he changed the timeline again. After he just learned how important protecting the timeline is. So now in the present day, the father looked up at the camera to grab the can of tomatoes to help him get out of jail.
Yeah, so you could be like, no, I was there. Like, there's my face. Okay.
And so, he gets a call from Batman, who we believe is Ben Affleck, right?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure his voice sounded different. So I was like, oh no. Like, are we finally learning who the new Batman is?
Who?
He comes up. It's George Clooney's Batman. And I'm just like, wait, why did you do that? This would be the perfect opportunity to show us the new Batman. It's like, why did you make it George Clooney? Unless George Clooney is the new Batman for the DCU.
He just is the new Batman, right? He's just super old and, like, definitely not gonna last forever. Dude, this movie it's like the Flash just running by you and slapping you in the face every 5 seconds.
Oh my god. They used all the best scenes in the trailers, by the way.
Yeah, I figure that's what movies are kind of doing nowadays if they're crap movies. Is they're like, all their best scenes are in the trailer, so you go and you watch and you're like, that was a waste. I saw the whole movie through the trailer.
I'm just...
You look so over this movie already.
I just want the DC... So the good thing about this movie is the DCU has now started.
The new version. Oh, yeah.
James Gunn has come out and officially said the next movie, which is Blue Beetle, he is the first DCU character.
Oh, okay. I like that.
So the DCU has officially started after Flashpoint. We still have to get through Blue Beetle and the new Aquaman, by the way, first. And then it's technically going to officially start with Superman movie.
Oh, really? Okay. I mean, I can get behind it, but that seems like a lot of effort for a really not so good movie, unless you're laughing at the people who went to watch it because they just wasted their time.
I wouldn't say I wasted my time. It's just, this was not the movie. like I thought it was gonna be.
It definitely let your expectations down.
They definitely changed the script a lot because instead of Michael Keaton's Batman, it was supposed to be Thomas Wayne Batman who killed people.
Oh, and you didn't get that at all.
No.
Ooh. See, that's a little rough. That would have been a cool Batman to see. Just gonna say.
Especially since in the DCEU, Thomas Wayne, I don't know the actor's name, but he was Negan from The Walking Dead. So we would have had that guy play Batman.
Which would have been cool to see, just saying. Would have been a little bit better than I can't even remember the name. Ghost Rider Batman.
No, he was Superman.
Or Superman. Oh, yeah, I guess he was Superman. Meh. I don't care as much about the DC as you do, but it just, like, that's way too convoluted of a movie that leads to basically nothing. Like, that's ridiculous. You have anything else you want to add?
Stop with the multiverse. I'm tired of multiverse thinking.
What, you don't like it? You don't like having to think about like 15 of the same character all in different ways at different points in time that you have to keep juggling?
Mostly because nobody else but Marvel, the MCU, can do it correctly, it seems like. Because Spider-Man No Way Home gave us a perfect example of multiverse characters.
Yeah, they did an amazing job with Spider-Man, so I don't think you're going to get any closer to perfection than that.
But I'd say that's it.
Real quick, I do have a question, though. Is it more so, not necessarily because they use multiverse, but is it more so because when Spider-Man did it, they brought the multiverse characters together to show they were multiverse characters and like how that worked? Whereas DC was like, oh, it's just a completely separate universe. So, like, it's just a completely different Batman. You don't get to see the other one doesn't exist anymore. He's gone. Poof. Bye.
I think so. Just the fact that they only showed us
one at a time.
Yeah.
Versus all of them interacting together. So do you think maybe it would have been a better movie if they had all of them interacting together, even though that's not how, like, their time travel works? Because it seems like they're not necessarily doing multiverse. They're just focusing on the time travel specific aspects. So they're saying in one multiverse, just changing the time.
Yeah, like
it just makes it more convoluted, honestly.
Especially to go back to the CW.
Yeah.
This version of Flash showed up in an episode of the CW Flashes. So they've already established all the DC properties are in the multiverse together.
Yeah, and then they proceeded to, with this movie, not really bring that and use that to its greatest value.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's what we got for this episode, ladies and gents. Seems like might want to just hold out for the next movie, but that's just a me thing personally. I think still watching them, also could be good. There might be more towards Double T.
Blue Beetle should be fun.
Blue Beetle looks good, but I'm concerned on if they're gonna make him memorable enough.
I will agree to that.
Yeah. Well, with that,